Time to connect to the Capitol with Governor Dan McKee, who's nice enough to join us live here in the studio. A lot to get to tonight. We're talking about Providence Schools. We're talking about the former speaker who wants to become a Supreme Court judge. And we're talking about the Newport Birthing Center. Governor, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be here, Dan.
Let's break some news right now. Providence Schools. Are we giving them back to, are we giving control back to the city?
Yeah, the RIDE just posted their agenda for next Tuesday's meeting, that the plan is to put in front of the state board that there'll be a transition, full transition to the local community on July 1st of this summer.
And you support that?
I do.
Yep.
I think it's timely. Both the commissioner and superintendent has provided some fantastic superlative type leadership. We've had growth in attendance, growth on reading and math scores, significant improvements over the Hopkins report in terms of facilities. So it's a good time to turn it over and give it to the local government to continue the progress.
And they want to do it, or you want to do it over the summer, right? In the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, there'll be a month of transition.
Okay.
When the vote happens next week. And then there'll be a summer that the school board, Providence School Board, can prepare for a successful opening in the fall.
And you think that that's enough time?
It is, and
Okay.
also we're going to be standing by the Providence Schools Board and the municipal leaders. If they need assistance for us and advisories on the progress that we made and how to continue the progress, we'll be available to them.
Have you called Mayor Smiley and told them? Or?
I have had confidence. Yeah, I've had
Okay.
a message. I left a message, but he just got back to me. Thank you
All right,
for
good.
the message. Yeah.
Let's move on to the former House Speaker, Joe Sacarchi, who now wants to be a Rhode Island Supreme Court judge. A lot of people say this stinks of politics, that he didn't run for governor and now he wants to be a Supreme Court judge. Does he have the experience? He's a real estate attorney. What are your thoughts?
Well, let the process work its way out. I mean, there's an application. I think that yesterday the board, right? That is
They announced they're going to interview 5. Board. He's one of them.
Yeah, he's one of them. So they're acknowledging that. Now they're going to have to do a full vetting, full background checks. It takes a while to do that. Right. We'll get some names of the top their selections. We will vet them as well. We'll interview all of them, and then we'll have conversations with the new speaker as well as the Senate president on the confirmation.
Right. For somebody who might be watching and say, is this a backroom deal? Is this the speaker saying, Governor, I won't run for the governorship, but I'd like to be the Rhode Island Supreme Court judge. Can you give me a stamp on that?
Yeah, all I can say is that didn't happen.
That didn't happen at all.
Didn't happen.
Do you think he's qualified to be a Rhode Island Supreme Court justice as a former real estate attorney?
Well, time will tell, but
Okay.
let's take a look at the process and certainly the applications and the background is always important to us.
Yeah, because they're replacing Justice Goldberg. She's an icon.
She's
legal
fantastic.
legend.
When I met with her when she gave me notice, just a really superb.
Yeah, I got a chance to do an interview with her. She's fantastic. Yeah. Let's talk about the Newport Birthing Center. They say they need $4 million or up to $5 million a year to keep it open. You're proposing 1.6. Tell us a little bit about what your stance is on this.
Yeah, so we first of all, last year I stepped up and made sure that it was known to the hospital's leadership that birthing center should not close last year when there was a discussion on that. This year, we've been able to have additional dollars that through actually our management, good management, incomes are up, so our collections are up. That's a direct result of raising incomes. And so we put in what we feel as though was the ask when you consider that the hospital is going to put some money in to make sure it happens, some philanthropy, which they've indicated that they're going to have, and then the state contribution.
So you think it can be saved?
I think it will be safe.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get to some polling questions. Yesterday, our friends at WPRI and Emerson College released a poll in terms of the gubernatorial campaign that had Helena folks 20% up. You also released an internal poll that didn't necessarily have numbers as to who was ahead, but how people felt about her and her past when she worked for CVS. What do you make of the poll that was released yesterday?
Well, first, the campaign is really just starting.
Okay.
And campaigns are about, telling people who my opponent is, and somebody that has put profits over people over and over and over again, and then my record as a working class individual that has supported the working class in the state of Rhode Island, whether it's helping education, right, making sure that we're earning more dollars, making sure that people are healthy, and putting people to work. When we compare those, we know that her numbers are going to go down, my opponent's numbers are going down, my numbers are going to go up. This is early, very early stages, Dan, of a campaign.
Have you done any internal polling yourself in terms of percentage points, who's ahead and who's not ahead?
Not up to this point, but we will.
Okay, and if you do, you'll
we're
let us.
We're doing issue-orientated, polling outreach right now. We've done some of the the groups that you would talk to about how they're feeling.
Let me ask you this question, and I'll ask this to other people too. If you were to look at something that you say, boy, I really need to step it up, I need to improve in this if I'm going to be the next governor again, what do you think that area is?
Well, we got to let people know that we provide, that we created 37,000 private sector jobs, that we have done incredible work in our education, helping our kids reach that goal that I've set, to reach or exceed Massachusetts levels by 2030. The work that we've done in hospitals. Look, our office saved that hospital, in terms of making sure that the financing was in place. Our expertise was able to make that happen while I'm managing the biggest snowstorm in the history of the state of Rhode Island. So, and then the other piece is, look, we're building things, whether it's public or private. We're building things at a rate, putting people to work, and we're making serious investments. We need to make sure that that story is out there. And then on the bridge issues, the Washington Bridge, which is an issue, we got to let people know that I closed that bridge to keep everyone safe. And then since then, we have the best contractor in the country. We're ahead of schedule in terms of where we are right now. I was on site the other day, the financing in place, and we'll hold the people accountable that gave us a misdiagnosis. I
want to get a view or a question. This is Lisa Walrap Herbert, and on Facebook she says that Rhode Island ranks low in the country for basically all healthy economic indicators. What are you going to do to draw business to this state? Because we just talked about that.
Well, first of all, I would disagree.
Okay.
We brought in more businesses under my leadership and those jobs, expanding current businesses like Fidelity, bringing in expansions of AAA and the insurance. The maritime defense is expanding at a degree that's unbelievable, with Andro being one of those leaders down in Quonset, 3,000 new jobs in Quonset alone. So the facts don't really support the statement.
And that's why you think you need to do a better job of getting your message out
there. Well, we got to
right?
continue doing that,
okay.
and it's certainly my job to do that in a campaign. It's certainly something that is not your job to do for us, but we are going to certainly make it known that the indicators, we have the highest per capita income in the history of the state of Rhode Island right now, and we have more businesses that have been registered in the last year on a historic basis. So yes, we are fighting against a history of that we're first in and last out of economic downturns. We're no longer there, Dan.
Okay, and at that I have to hold you there, Governor, but obviously the big breaking story coming out of this interview is that Providence gets your school system back.
Yeah, and we're pleased to make that happen, and the work that the commissioner and the superintendent and all the staff, the teachers have done a great job there. Let's keep progress going in the Providence
All right, Governor,
schools.
we covered a lot of ground today. I certainly appreciate your time. You know that for sure, and let's head it over to Emily.